So, hi everyone again. Good morning. And today is a special day. It's 24th of December 2022, and it's our Christmas. So, to start with the right energy, I would like to ask Munir to do our initial prayer.
Let's do it. Okay. Let's close our eyes. Imagine ourselves in a big, large group, hands and shoulders, joining our thoughts and our hearts, lifting them up to our Father, Creator, and especially today to our beloved Master Jesus, who is pure love. May we, in this study, in this gathering, be worthy of his love, of his message. May we benefit from it, take it inside us, transforming our souls, so that we can work safe towards him. So be it.
So be it. So let me share the book with you all. Just remove this a little bit. Well, we have stopped in the item 26. And I will start from the beginning. So like that, we have a full understanding of the question. What does the faculty for seeing spirits in the walking states depend on? It depends on the organization and the greater or lesser ease with which the fluid of the seer combines with of the spirit, with that of the spirit. Hence, it is not enough for the spirit simply to want to show itself. The spirit must find the required aptitude in the individual to whom it wants to show itself. And we had a discussion about that last week, right? Where we mentioned about vibration, we mentioned about fluids, we mentioned about a bit of what really is the mediumship, because mediumship is organic. And the first thing the spirit's answer is depending on the organism, is the organic. So not everyone will see everything, not everyone will see at all. And it depends on the person, depends on the fluid, depends on the spirits. And I'll go even further, depends on the reason for it. Because there's always a purpose behind mediumship. There's always something that must be linked to that event to make it happen. Otherwise, there's no point for it. Can this faculty be developed through practice? From time to time, we see nowadays on the internet, before that, we used to see on pamphlets, we used to see on TVs, on advertisements, people trying to advocate that they can teach people to have the third eye or clairvoyance, per se. Let's go back to the basics. Mediumship is organic. If you do not have what it takes to be a medium, you'll be wasting your time and money. You will not learn anything. If you are a medium, that means your physical body, your organism is prepared to be a medium, and you do not know, yes, you can develop something because you do not know, you never exercised, and through some guidelines, you will be acquainted to the characteristics of yours, and then you can develop your mediumship. Yeah, Munir, go on.
No, I get him. This is my view, because on the one hand, we know that, mediumship is organic, but on the other hand, we also know that everyone is a medium. I think when they say about we can develop the faculty, we can develop to the degree that is compatible to the degree of mediumship that we have. So if you have little mediumship, you can make the most of that little that you have. If you have mediumship well developed in the sense that the channel is, is broad and it's a broadband mediumship, I would call that. So you can make the most of that. So what I say is, what I understand from this, you can develop the faculty, not that you can go from nothing to, the maximum of mediumship. It's just that you can make the most of what you have. You may have very little, you may have a lot, and you can develop in the sense of, using it properly or learning how to use it, how to control that. But I agree, we have a degree of mediumship and then we can go much further than that because it is organic. We would need to change the body itself. But, having said that, since everyone is a medium, we have, a certain degree of mediumship, all of us.
Let me elaborate.
I know if you agree.
Let me elaborate a bit about that. Everyone is a medium. Yes, everyone is a medium. But when we talk about mediums per se, we're talking about ostensive mediums. We all have some sort of sensibility. And because we all have some sort of sensibility, we all are mediums. But I may have some sensibility, but I will never be an ostensive medium because my physical organization was not prepared to be an ostensive medium. When I'm referring to mediums, I'm referring to ostensive mediums, okay? Just to everyone to understand. If I am an ostensive medium, I don't know. Yes, I can develop the characteristics. If I am an ostensive medium with some level of mediumship, I can also develop my ostensive mediumship to another degree through continuation of exercise, studies, practice, commitment, and then the mediumship can evolve. That's why sometimes ostensive mediums that have only the capacity of writing, psychography, a couple of years later, sometimes he has developed the capacity to see. He has developed the capacity to psychophony, right? But he or she has the physical organization, the organism prepared to it. And when I'm talking about organism, I'm talking about perispirit and physical body. I need to have like so many steps aligned to be what we call ostensive mediums. But not everyone will be able to develop, only those who have the organism prepared to do it. Why I'm saying that? Because one question came to my mind. I'm a medium, my wife is a medium. Will my son be a medium? Is it on his DNA be a medium? We have another situation there. He may be a medium, but he may inherit the organism characteristic from the father and mother, but he may not have the other variables that are required to become an ostensive medium. So it's not only that, but quite often we see families where father, mother, son, they are mediums. Okay. What Munir said really got my attention when he mentioned about we all are mediums. I can extend that to the level that we do not need to be ostensive mediums to be mediums. I am a medium every time I help someone. I am a medium every time I alleviate someone's sorrow. I am a medium every time I send a good thought to someone else. Why I'm saying that? I'll let you speak very soon, Liz. Because today in particular, when we see, or at least when we are drawn into Jesus' teachings more often than we normally do, when today we think about Christmas, today he was born and things like that, he never addressed his teachings to mediums, knowing that he was a medium himself. He never addressed his teachings to ostensive mediums. He addressed his teachings to everyone. So everyone can be a medium, not in the sense of seeing, writing, speaking, but in a sense of being intermediate, the go-between between him, his teachings, and anyone else. Hi, Liz.
I love what you said about everyone can be a medium. Helping someone is a task for a medium and for everybody, as everybody is a medium. But what I start to think when you said that is that we mostly forget that we are all immortal spirits incarnated in this body. We don't have to be a medium only for the spirits who are in eroticity and are discarnated. We need to remember that as a spirit, I don't have a spirit, I am a spirit, a mortal spirit. We have to, as you said very well, following Jesus' teachings and practice charity wherever we are, to whoever spirit is around us.
Yep, indeed. Let's see what they say about develop through practice. It can be as can all other faculties. However, it is a faculty that is better left to develop naturally rather than artificially, because in the latter case, there is a risk of overexciting the imagination. I think it's fair to say that we all overexcite our imagination when we were starting to acquire the level of information that is within the Spiritism. It's also fair to say that we overexcited our imagination when we participated for the first time in the mediumship meeting. It's also fair to say that we did the same when we start to realize that we had some sort of mediumship, because we are humans. If we have the right guidance, even if we do that, chances are that we'll be brought back into the right path. But if we are learning without proper assistance, through a course, anywhere else, through a book that I bought and I think I understood everything, then it's a different thing. That is why it's very important to always seek guidance, to always seek assistance of people that have been acquainted and have a little knowledge about it. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, good evening. No, I just want to say that we should remember that there's the technical aspect of developing mediumship, but there is the moral aspect of developing mediumship. And I think the safest way to develop mediumship, as has been said here, not to force it too much in the technical aspect, but to raise our moral standards. And for us Christians, the gospel is the best guide that we can have. So I say, in doubt, just raise your moral standards and all the rest will come at the right time, in the right condition. But of course, technically speaking, we can improve mediumship, but before anything else, we should try to raise our moral standards. This is it's important for us to raise our vibration as well.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. But we also know that sometimes mediumship is coming as a wake-up call. And through this process is what we will have, or what we will use, what we could use to help our moral improvements as well. But if we want to have good benefactors around us, if you want to have good companionship from the other side, there is not another way that I know other than improving ourselves morally. So yeah, very good, Munia. Thank you. Very good. Hi, Cleo.
Hi. I just want to add about mediumship that for me, for example, is to have a very clear idea what mediumship is for, and then I can work towards improve it. For example, mediumship, the way I can understand better is something to help others, something that can contribute to either myself or others to improve and to follow Jesus Christ's guidance. And if it's not something that I'm using to help others or to improve the universe, other people, or myself, then I'm not going on the right path. So I always keep that very clear in my mind. What is the purpose of mediumship? That's all.
I'll take your comments, Cleo, and mention something that is happening in one mediumship that I participate. We are having the visit of mediums that did not use their mediumship as they're supposed to. They are coming asking for help because they have charged for their mediumship. They use mediumship to They use the mediumship more for the materialist side than anything else. And today they realize on the spiritual world what they have done. But they also come to us telling us that some of them still do not realize at all, still thinking what they did is right. We also are receiving visits from spiritist spirits where they are reporting that they haven't used the spiritism teachings as they're supposed to. They haven't used the spiritist teachings to assist. They haven't used the spiritism teachings as charity. And they also report how they regret it. Why I mention those two scenarios? Because I hope we will not be one of them in the future. And we have those visits constantly since I've started on the Spiritism mediumship meetings. From time to time, our benefactors allowed them to come to tell us, don't do the same. Use what you have whenever you can, while you can. Because every time we acquire knowledge and we do not use, it may become a burden on ourselves in the future. So let's use what we learn and what we know. The common and permanently ability to see spirits is exceptional, and normal human conditions are not conducive to it. Regardless that we are all mediums, as Kardec says to us, only a minority will see spirits, right? But as today's Christmas is party and everything else, you know, we all see spirits. I can see you all here on my Zoom. I can see spirits looking to the window. I can see spirits on the mall that I was 2 minutes ago. But I do not see discarnated spirits, right? But if you do, there's no reason to be scared. There's no reason to be afraid. This is more like a wake-up call, because if you do see spirits, it's to learn how to use it to help others. Can spirit apparitions be artificially induced? Sometimes that's possible, but very rarely. They are almost always spontaneous. For someone to see spirits, they must be endowed with a special faculty. Well, the spirit is saying it's possible, right? Rarely, but it's possible. I don't know how. I don't know how. I do not know. Because there are so many factors that needs to be taken into account to make it happen. So how can you induce? Must be someone with a very good knowledge about how to do it. I really don't know how to do it. But the spirit says it's possible sometimes. So Pablo, are you here?
I am.
Can we do some experience today?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Okay,
Just-
your throat is a bit sour today, right? Cannot talk. All right. So, can spirits render themselves visible in other forms beside the human one? Ooh, that question is very interesting. The human form is the normal form. A spirit can vary its appearance, but it nearly always retains the human form. When you have an answer, yes or no, is straightforward. Yes or no. When you have an answer, maybe, that's a can of worms. Because then we start to create some theories in our mind. We start to think about, oh yes, this could be a spirit. That butterfly that has in front of me could be a spirit. That cat that jumped into my lap, oh, maybe a spirit. You know what I mean? So, but we need to take those assumptions very carefully, very carefully. Hi, Jacques.
Hi. My question is, so the human form is the normal one, right? Is it a human form that the medium recognizes, or is it a human form that the spirit is accustomed to appearing as?
The medium will see what the spirit is displaying. The medium will not interfere in what he is seeing. He sees what is there. If it's not there, he will not see. So the spirit may have the ability to show himself in a different shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
Like myself, I'm not very slim. I have a bit of weight, as my son used to say. When I disconnect, I will ensure that all this weight will not be there. All right. But you will see what I'm showing to you.
Okay.
You will not be able to interfere on that.
So it's pretty much the spirits dictating what. Yeah. Thank you.
But if you used to see this spirit in a different physiognomy, shape and form, for example, he may appears in a shape or form that you recognize him,
Okay.
right? But you will not change. It's not the other way around. He will do what he wants to do, not you.
Okay.
Another hand. Hi, Liz.
So just putting another layer of complexity. If a spirit obviously appears to you, that appearance or choosing how to appear to be more familiar to you or whatever, will it depend as well on the level of involvement and knowledge?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So if you want to add layers to make things more complicated, right? So I'll add another one here just before I start to elaborate on yours. The question is, can the spirit render himself different? He's not talking about perispirit. He's talking about the spirit. His spirit does not have the perispirit. Spirit is one thing, perispirit is another thing. If I go on the avenue, I can elaborate a lot of more different things, right? And now let's go back to Lee's question. Is not, I appreciate that if you are a highly evolved spirit, you acquired over the centuries, millennia, knowledge to manipulate the fluids and your perispirit as you will. I have no quarrel about that. But even if I'm not morally evolved, but if I learn over the centuries, millennia, how to manipulate the fluids, magnetism, and my spiritual body, I may well do. And I'm not morally evolved. Primary example is when we have spirits that are not evolved morally at all, and they appear themselves in a different shape and form, because that's the way they see themselves. Sometimes in a mediumship meeting, they come and they describe to the participants of the mediumship meeting how he looks like, how unpleasant he looks like. And we can make a comparison with the Dante Alighieri pictures. And he does anyway. And he's not morally evolved. So
can they appear to be, can they change their appearance to look like someone that we know to influentiate us in a negative way?
It's possible.
Mm.
It's possible. We need to understand, let's go a little bit for the magnetism side. Magnetism is a force of nature. Magnetism is not positive, it's not negative. It's not evil, it's not good. It's magnetism. The will of the person that will use the magnetism is what will drive the magnetism to become plus or minus, not the other way around. So if I do have knowledge how to use, I can use, not for the right way. Oh, can they appear in the form of flame? They can produce flames of light as well as any other effect to demonstrate their presence. But such attributes are not the spirits themselves. A flame is usually an optical effect or an emanation of the perispirit. In every case, it is only a part of the perispirit which only appears in its entirety during visions. I know how to manipulate the fluids. I know how to play with my perispirit. I want to show one of you a flame or something. Yeah, why not? But it doesn't mean that I am became a flame. This question could be triggered by some visions mediums used to have when they see colors, lights like colors, different colors. This is a different thing, right? This is a different thing. I guess that's why the question came along. What are we to think of the belief that attributes will or wisp the soul of all spirits? What are we to think of the belief that attributes will all the wisps of the soul? Well, I don't know the expression will or the wisps, so I will. Anyone can help? I don't know what this means. And
Very-
I think it's
Yeah,
just it's almost like a nature appearance, which you see almost like a light, like a little fairy, really, with light around it. So that's kind of the thing with willow the wisp, they call it. Yeah.
I see. Thank you, Sol.
No worries.
Yes, if I may, I think it's used to like little lights above, often cemeteries and these kind of things. It was supposed to be some gas coming out, and that's what it was called, the will of the wisps. But
Oh, I
it's
see.
a more natural thing.
I see. So what he's talking is
Fogo Fatuo, Canary.
Fogo Fatuo. Yeah, okay.
From the folklore Brazilian.
I think it is in that little film, it is portrayed in that little film Brave, isn't it? When the main character, that animated film from Disney, Brave, that is, it's a Scottish story, and she followed the wisps.
Mhm. Yeah. But look at the answer. Superstition resulting from ignorance. The physical cause of will-o'-the-wisps is well known. Was the blue flame that appeared over the head of Servius Tullius while he was an infant real or only a legend? Now he is moving to another one. So let me come back to the first one. I will assume that this will or wisps is the fogo fatuo that we call in Portuguese. And if we are in a place like a cemetery, for example, from time to time, people used to see that. These are normal phenomena because this is the composition of the physical body. And when the goes away, some people see that as a flame. Was the blue flame that appears over the head of Servius Tullius while he was infant real or only a legend? It was real, produced by his familiar spirit who wanted to warn his mother. Because she was a seeing medium, she saw the radiation of her son's protector spirit. Seeing mediums vary in the degree of perception, just as the writing mediums vary in the ability to write. While this mother saw only a flame, another medium might have seen the spirits in itself. And recently, when I learned on this study here with you guys, that to be able to see the spirit, I also need to mix my fluids with the fluids of the spirit. That may be the key. if I'm able to interlace my fluids perfectly with the spirit, I may see the spirits entirely. If I can do only part of it, maybe just part of it. Hi, Liz, go on.
I have a question on this matter. But if she was able to see that, let's just take this story here, just a little flame or whatever spark there that was indicating of her son's protective spirit. You know, when you take a photograph and you have a little light that shouldn't be there, there was nothing there, no reflection on the lens, nothing, and you have a little light in that photograph, would it be like us capturing some of these little flames, but in a photograph?
You really want to make my life more complicated today, right?
Well, Guilherme, you asked for it. That's your Christmas present, okay?
Thank you.
I say that because, right, I had my mother around here and we went to a museum, and we know museums pieces full of fluids from whoever was in there. And we went into the Museum of Welsh History. We went to this very old house. And said, oh, mine, let's go and take a photo by this bed. And these cottage houses are always very dark. There's no metal, nothing, nothing to reflect, nothing. And take a photo, and that's great. Once we develop the photo, print the photo, and then I noticed there is this bright light on one part of the picture around my mum, beside her head, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what on earth was this? And she said, I don't remember having anything bright. It was quite a dark room. So I asked because of that.
Liz, first of all, we have to eliminate every possible material explanation. Could be a light, could be a default of the camera, could be this, that, blah, blah. I'm not here evaluating the phenomena. I'm just here evaluating the process. We have to eliminate everything else. In the absence of any other explanation, then we can start to think about something on those lines. And is it possible? Yes, it is possible. We have books and books with a lot of pictures, with a lot of things. We have groups like we have in France, we have elsewhere, where they study instruments phenomena, pictures, musics, sounds, everything through instruments. Nevertheless, to have any phenomena through instruments or not, we need a medium with the characteristics of donate ectoplasm or energy, if you like, to allow that to happen. But answer your question, yes, it's possible. Munir, help me out.
I was going to say, don't jump into conclusions. Liz, by the way, you have this bright light around your heads. Maybe it's your spirit guide, you know. But you shouldn't jump into conclusions. Before we say it's A or B, we should investigate. I have an example. The other day, I was in a place, I was trying to take a picture of something that was on the table. But every time I looked through the phone, it was, you know, it was a sort of a hazy picture. I said, wow, there's no light here that is causing that. Then I realized far away from me, there was a spotlight. And that spotlight was hitting the camera lenses, but you know, I couldn't see that. So I could jump into some conclusions. The right way to do it, and Kardec advises us to do is, well, if you suspect that there is something there, we should investigate. Of course, you know, for you it would be difficult to go to that place to try different mobile phones or different cameras, different conditions and so on. But as Guilherme said, it may be possible, but is it A or B? We don't know. I mean, we leave it open to, further investigation, but we shouldn't jump into conclusions. That's why Spiritism is science as well.
Yeah, no, that is true. I'm with you. It wasn't around. Sorry, I think I put described in the wrong way. It wasn't like a halo or something around my mom's head. It was like it was like a firefly, if I can do an analogy like this, really bright. It was like an independent ball of light, right? Beside my mother, on the same level of her head. It wasn't something surrounding her, and it wasn't brightening her up. The only light that there was the flashing light, because the room was so dark. Bear in mind, these those houses that we went to wasn't a house for very important people, so there was no metal or gold or things on the bed, so it was a wooden bed. So I thought about this, and I was like, man, there was no metal to reflect the light of the flash right back to me. So we were like, it is quite a intriguing photo. I just say that.
So a brief answer, yeah, it can be, but further evaluations need to be done. Hi, Liz.
Well, since the age of digital cameras, many cameras now are able to pick up on photographs, etc., and videos, spirit orbs. Orbs are small circles you see of spirits. You can see them static or you can see them moving. Many pictures that, my daughter and I share with each other have these orbs on. You can have one or you can have 5 in different parts of the rooms that you're taking pictures of or around people. She also, being a seeing medium, also sees them sometimes in front of her, say like in a bedroom, darting, a bit like a comet, from one place to another. So you see these orbs, and these are the energies of spirits, but it doesn't mean whether they're good or bad. They're just there present, like they are present around us all the time. With digital cameras, you do pick this up. Though, as everyone has quite rightly said, always eliminate first other sources of light or other things that, as they say, can excite your imagination. But we have many pictures of actual orbs on many photos since digital cameras and the mobile cameras have come available now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are groups that only study that kind of events. Many countries, they prepare labs to capture beyond any doubt things like that. So yeah, it's a possibility. Can spirits show themselves in the form of an animal? Ooh, that can happen. But low order spirits are always the ones who take such appearances. So that answers the question from, I think it was Liz, right? Yes, they can change their appearances. In every case, however, it is a temporary appearance, because it would be absurd to believe that an animal could be the incarnation of a spirit. Animals are always animals and nothing more. Only sheer superstition could lead to the belief that certain animals are incarnations of spirits. One would have to have a very complacent or impressionable imagination to see something supernatural in the somewhat bizarre circumstances in which animals sometimes present themselves. Fear often causes one to see something that does not really exist. Nonetheless, fear is not always the source of the idea. We knew a lady who was in fact quite intelligent, who was extremely fond of certain black cat because she believed that it possesses a supra-animal nature. However, she had never heard mention of spiritism. If she had been familiar with it, she would have understood how foolish her predilection was, since the doctrine would have disclosed the impossibility of such metamorphosis. When I was reading that here, something came to my mind, is where spirits using the magnetism change the shape and form of another spirit, perispirit. And it can last for quite some time until that spirit is able to overcome the force that have initiated that transformation. So in the spiritism, as Moniz said a few minutes ago, it is also a science. So we can never see one thing isolate. We need to open our spectrum to see different possibilities for the same phenomena or for the same subject. Oh dear, now I have two lists with the hands up. Which one is the first one?
Liz was first.
Okay, all right. Go, Liz.
It was from the previous question.
okay,
So
all right,
go
sorry.
on, Liz.
So it's you now, Liz. Please,
Oh. Oh, sorry. Yes, regarding impersonating animals, I think for quite a while, shamans have impersonated animals, or when they've gone and visited the umbral in part of their ceremonies, a lot of them come back impersonating wolves or birds or things like that. I'm not sure whether the actual shaman does that himself or whether other spirits are involved in that. But yeah, it is a test as well as to whether they can fight those things in the umbral and then come back. I haven't investigated it too much, but I have read a lot about it in many different sources.
Liz, my honest answer is I don't know. As my source of information is the Spiritism, I could not find so far in the Spiritism anything that would rectify that information. I could not. Maybe it's there. There's so many books, I cannot read all of them, so I could not find. The only situation where we could have information on the Spiritism, that's what we're doing here, about spirits changing their characteristics, is when they are magnetized by other spirits for evil purpose. Other than that, I could not find anything. I'm not saying it's not there, I'm just saying I do not know. Right.
Okay, thanks.
So we are moving on to theoretical essay on apparitions. What time is it? 10 minutes. 10 minutes, we plenty time. Theoretical essay on apparitions. The most common manifestations of apparitions occur in dreams during sleep. These are visions. We cannot here examine all the particularities that dreams can present, but we will sum them up by stating what they may be. This is a very, I want you guys to keep that here, may be. An actual vision or presence or absent things, a retrospective vision of the past, in certain exceptional cases, a presentiment of the future. frequently. They are also allegorical images that good spirits present to us as useful warnings or beneficial advice. If they are imperfect spirits, they may use them to mislead us and encourage our passions. The theory that follows below is applicable to dreams and all other cases apparitions. So this is also part of the Spirit's book. Before we go on, I'd like to mention something, is that we are all spirits. I believe you all agree with that by now, right? When we sleep, we gain access to the spiritual world, and our characteristics as our perispirit detached from our physical body, we are pretty much like a discarnated spirit. Saying that, we can go to nice places and bad places. I can do good things and evil things. If when I'm awakened, I am heavily into drugs, into alcohol, into sex, into anything you may think, when I'm sleeping, I will continue. I will do exactly what I do when I'm awakened. I will chase this, what pleases me more. So it is important to us, when we go to our bed, try to at least make a prayer, asking our benefactors, our guardian angels, our spiritual friends, to at least to try to not let us do something that's not positive for us or for others. Because when we are detached from our physical body, we can do things that are negative for us and for others as well. Likewise, we can do things that are positive for us and for others. So it's always important to have that in mind. So through the Spiritism teachings, by now we know what we're supposed to be doing to make ourselves better. So when we go to our bed, we should continue this effort. If I'm doing all the effort to be a better person when I'm awakened, before I'm asleep, ask the assistance of our benefactors to keep us on the right path. It is impossible to say that we always do good things when we are sleeping, because we know we don't. And we have recollection when we do something that we are not proud of, because we do. But if we do prepare ourselves to help our benefactors, our guardian angels, is a bit better. We shall not offend our readers' common sense if we refute the absurd and foolish notions of what is entailed in the popular dream interpretation. Funny enough that you can buy books telling you if you had a dream about this, it's because that will happen. If you have a dream about that, it's because something else will happen. And this is nonsense, in my opinion. I respect everyone else's opinion, but to me, this is nonsense. And when we are detached from our physical body, we are experience some situations. And when we have the right permission, we attain that information with us. And when we are awakened, we have some recollection of what has happened. Sometimes we remember everything, sometimes just some flashlights of it. There varies case by case. Harmonia.
No, hi again. Since you've mentioned preparing ourselves to go to bed, and I see that, you know, we bring an amount of problems in our mind when we go to bed, and it's so important to actually leave them aside, prepare ourselves for a different moment in our day. It takes 1/3 of our day, approximately 1/3 to 1/4 of our day, which is the hours that we sleep. Otherwise, I see that we go to bed with those problems in our mind, It's like saying, Guilherme, let's spend the afternoon in Oxford Street, and you only think about chocolate. So
Oh,
you go to Oxford Street, you don't see the Christmas decoration, you don't see anything. You just want to get to that shop and eat chocolate because, you know, you have this crave for chocolate. And you know, there is this little shop that sells wonderful chocolate, you know.
you know me too
So-
well, Munir.
Yeah. Well, it's the inspiration here. No, what I'm saying is that you won't appreciate what is around. You won't see any other thing because you have chocolate in your mind and you can only get to that. And we are more or less like that. We bring our passions with us when we go to bed. And if we don't prepare ourselves properly, we just carry on doing the things we do during the day. I like this, I like that. I'm very much into these. And we miss the opportunity actually of doing something better. And sometimes I imagine, in my case, I imagine the frustration of my, you know, guardian angel and those spirits who are with me saying, oh, again, he'll miss the, you know, the classes, or he won't be with us in this work, or, you know, he's just too much into that problem or this problem. And I see it that way, that this is my personal perception. If I don't prepare myself properly, leave aside the problems and say, it's a different moment now, I end up, you know, just carry on during the nights with the same problems that I have during the day.
It is.
Tendencies.
I am 100% with you, Munir, because we do that sometimes even without thinking, and we do that. And we don't need to have a problem to be like that.
No, yeah.
Watching a Netflix series, for example, and I do, sometimes enough to dream about it when you are sleeping, you know, and you feel like part of that cinema thing, you know. So yeah. Hi, let's go on.
When we sleep, we miss a golden opportunity if we're not aware of it. You know, after saying our prayers and asking, you know, for guidance to stay on the good path, etc., all that time while our body is resting and rejuvenating doesn't stop our spirit from working, and it doesn't tire our body when the spirit works while we sleep. So while we sleep, it's a good time to ask the spiritual benefactors, please let me be useful servant and let me practice charitable things while my body is resting and while I'm asleep. Use me where you need me. You know, while use my spirit, let me give energy if there's an accident, or energy if somebody needs an operation, or there are so many charitable things that you can do while you're asleep. And we know this as spiritists because we know how the teams work in the spiritual world, and we have the opportunity of joining them. So this, you know, no time is really wasted.
I really agree with you, Liz.
Wonderful.
And it is only a shame that we don't do like that every day.
Mhm.
It's only a shame. Shame on me, right? So now it's time to finish our study for today. Let's do our prayer. And today in particular, because we are here celebrating not only the opportunity to be together studying things that our brother Kardec brought to us, our spiritual friends brought to us, but also celebrating that day where his presence becomes stronger on every home or every corner of the planet, where we are better prepared to reflect ourselves in our actions, in what we become, in what we want to be. Today, we celebrate him. Today, we feel him closer. But let's not forget that not everyone is around a table with food, with gifts. Not everyone is protected against the cold weather today. Not everyone has everything they need to eat. Today is your day. And we would like to ask you, as always we do, that your presence may be felt beside anyone that is in need, anyone that's hurt, anyone that's cold, anyone that's starving. That our families could join the opportunity to be together. We praise you, Lord. We praise you, my master. We praise you, my brother. Merry Christmas, everyone. So be it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas, everyone.
Bye.
Have a
Bye.
wonderful time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Good night. God bless you
Merry
all.
Christmas.
God be with
See
you
you
all.
all.
See you
See
next
you
week.
all.
Ah, it's Elsa. I saw Elsa with the hat. I did not recognize her.
Oh,
Bye.
bye-bye.